I'm back in the basement again, and I've really been thinking about things that I want to change to make the basement more efficient for us. It's actually pretty exciting because I feel like I'm getting to the part of the transformation that I've been waiting for, has it been 1 year or 2? I honestly can't remember. Here's where I left it last time. This stuff over here is mostly my stuff. There is some stuff that belongs to the kids. One of you mentioned in the comments, and I completely agree, that it would make more sense if I had a section for each of my kids. I totally agree. It actually used to be that way. And then when I started decluttering, things were getting shuffled, things were getting added to the pile. Another thing someone mentioned to me a long time ago is the things like decor, which I have my decor on these shelves. Why aren't they at the bottom of the stairs? And at the time I couldn't do it. I had other things like food storage that was there. But now that I'm not doing the food storage there anymore, I really could put my decor over there. It'd be so much easier for me to declutter and keep track of and access. I also feel like this small amount of craft stuff should go over there as well, because that's more stuff that our kids would use. I want to put it on this shelf right here, and on these two bottom shelves are games. And so, as always, if anyone's playing the games, then they end up getting taken out of these bottom two baskets. So a few of those can go down here. And then if you leave anything empty, things fill it up. So, these need to go, that needs to go. That's my fault, that needs to go. So you have that shelf there, and then on the other side of the stairs, now don't be distracted by this. This is stuff that my son is taking in his move in a couple of weeks. I also have this shelf, so I feel like this shelf needs to be decluttered. Right now it has cleaners and then homeschool stuff on the bottom. So my dream would be to be able to take these boxes that are homeschool work that I'm keeping in files in case they're ever needed. That would mean this shelf would be empty, this shelf would be empty, and then it would be much easier to section this off, and then decor, 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 decor. That would all be moved. Then I would have a spot. Oh, actually, that's vases. That would be moved. This is my husband's trophies. I would probably leave that here and do a small space, over on one of these shelves. This is china. I'm soon going to be dividing up between the kids that want it. It would go with their stuff. You might be able to see or read, I did have categories at one time, and then all of it ended up getting shuffled. I am very concerned about these boxes right there. They're just way too big. It's the Christmas stuff. I don't know if they will fit on the shelves where I want to move them to. So we'll just have to see what happens there. I'm walking down the street on clouds instead of the concrete I'm dancing through. Everything's about to come my way. Nothing can ruin my day. No matter what anyone does or say, I smile at fools. No, I don't care, cause I am on my way. This would never play with. I'm actually just going to quietly get rid of it, and I don't think anyone's going to notice. No, I won't stop. It is my time. Cause I know what it's like to be broke. This was from when my daughter was working, and I know she'll be working again, but I guess, what am I going to do with this? Let's hang it on top. Then at least it doesn't take up shelf space. This I was using for water bottles, but I had too many of these, so I'm going to actually declutter this. It's a little controversial because it's kind of new and in great shape, and there's nothing wrong with it. Can you sense the guilt? But we haven't been using it, so it's gonna go. This can go with the summer stuff. Is gray or blue. No, I don't care, cause I am on my way up, and I won't stop. I honestly don't know why this did end up getting put back upstairs. It's some skewers, a nutcracker. I know I can fit them upstairs. I feel like I go up, down with this stuff, but I don't know. See, well, it's whenever the girls decide to do like where you melt the chocolate, and you dip things in it. That's what we use them for. I'll have to think about this. These are my bottle returnable bag. That's what that is. Shark Swipes, a card that goes with the card game. That moment when you realize it's actually kind of a small shelf, but I have this stuff up here. I would love to move. I just don't know where to move it to yet. Although I have this crazy shelf as an option. I don't use this lid anymore, so it needs to be on.
And I know what it's like when nothing goes your way. So I'm just gonna let myself enjoy the fruit from this lucky day. Yeah, I am on my way up. I won't slow down, 'cause I am on my way up. I won't slow down. Yeah, I am on my way up. I won't slow down.
I don't know how old these are. I wonder if they would even grow, but I'll put them with the gardening stuff for now. Then this, I'm just going to put it down here. Before I do this, let's put the vases in something that has a lid. I'm just taking the label off of this one and putting it right on this one. And we'll put this with the empty boxes. This can be the first to go. Spring, actually, Valentine's Day. Spring and summer is going to get used soon. So I feel like that's a good one to bring out there right now. The pillows, spring and summer, and then fall. And then these are fall pillows. Not happy with how I've stored them. I bet these are more pillows. Oh, it's my... Oh. It's a comforter and blankets. Okay. Spring and summer. This is winter. But there's a lot of extra room, so I'm going to put these candles in there. Actually. And you know, this is actually really faded, and some of the, I love it, but some of the petals have chipped. I'm actually going to declutter this. There's still plenty of room over there, so I'm super excited. Definitely plenty of room for this craft stuff. Probably room for this homeschool stuff, even though I want it on the other shelf. But very exciting. So this is going now. And I did not forget the pillows. And then this glue, we have had this for years and nobody uses it, so I'm going to get rid of it. And this sewing machine can come over there too. I have these Glad Lock bags, and they're the ones that you can take a vacuum to and reduce the size. And if you were here for one of my other videos, I had tried to use my vacuum and I could not figure it out. And what I didn't realize is there's a little knob that you twist off and then your vacuum fits on it. My vacuum didn't seem to fit on it when I used it last time. My husband's going to come down here in a minute. He's going to do it. He's going to have zero trouble with it. So it's just kind of funny. I have been thinking a lot about the whole idea of death decluttering and how we are decluttering so that when we pass away, our children do not have to deal with our mess. And I still think that's a big motivation. I think that it's a kind thing to do for your future generations. And we all know how difficult it is when someone passes that we have to go through all of their things. And quite often we end up keeping things we wouldn't normally keep, perhaps just because we feel bad to get rid of all of their things. It's just not the right time to do it when you're grieving. And then also what can happen when you're grieving is other people can ask you for things that belong to, say, your mother or your father, and you might just say yes because you don't want to have that conversation. You don't want to think of it. And so you just let things go that you didn't want to let go. And then you have regrets later. I've seen this firsthand. I have seen neighbors gather when someone passes and they're asking the bereaved family for certain items because they felt close to the person who died as well, or they don't think that's going to have value to you and it has value to them. And I have seen people get rid of things that belong to their loved ones and later regret it. So I do think it is valuable to be dealing with some of these things right now. And I will be talking about this later. You'll see me with some china and I'll just be describing what is going to happen there. But I don't want to stop at death decluttering. Let's put it that way. I also want to be life decluttering. Life decluttering means I'm getting rid of things that no longer serve me so I can move into the next season of my life freer and having more time to do the things that I enjoy and living out my purpose and not spending all of that time managing all of these possessions that I have. So this is why I say that decluttering is really a matter of life and death. It's a matter of life because you don't need to be carrying around all of this weight in your home. You want to be free and have empty spaces and have rooms that are easy to clean because they only need a wipe down. They don't have piles of clutter everywhere that you have to deal with on a daily basis. And death decluttering, because it is true that you don't want to leave these messes for your kids to clean up after you're gone, or if you have to downsize because of illness or because you're having to move into a smaller place and be moved because of your health. So even if you haven't passed on, it can be an even tougher decision if you're still alive, but you're having to downsize and be downsized by someone else. So how much better it is to make those decisions now, to communicate with your loved ones, find out what things they would like to have when you're fairly young and healthy, and it's not so much of a guilty thing where they feel like they're getting rid of your things for you, but you're telling them that this no longer has a value to you. You can share with them the history and the stories behind those items, have that joy and that time with them, and then they can make a decision based on where their life is. And I also think it is important to share with them that they don't need to keep these things. Even if they accept them now, they are free to get rid of them whenever they no longer serve their purpose. Right now, I'm kind of condensing. I'm moving all of the things from the left shelf over to the right since we have extra room. So these are sleeping bags that we use on occasion whenever the kids go on a youth retreat. So I'm just emptying that one shelf on the left, which feels super good. So I can't put these two on the shelf I was just doing. Those are Christmas. But I already have the Christmas trees there, so I'm going to put them here. Then this is my daughter Rachel's, and then this is kind of like Rachel Fran. And then one box of Crecia. And this belongs to my daughter Yvonne, so I'm thinking they can, I don't know where I'm going to put them then.
You only have
either way.
2 boxes.
I only have 2 boxes, so I'm just going to put Crecia's box right there for now, and we'll see where we're at. I had to bring in the muscles here. So what we're doing now is we're making room so that we can bring those Christmas boxes down underneath the shelf. And so now all of my Christmas stuff will be right there in that one spot, which does feel really good. And I feel like it's a really good place for it. It's out of the way. And obviously we only use it once a year. So I don't necessarily feel like I need to be able to lay my hands on it. And I probably will declutter it again, but probably not until I am about ready to decorate, which is what I did this year too. You can see that video that was probably put up in November of 2022 where I decluttered my Christmas things, and then I usually declutter it again when I'm taking it off the tree. And I like to do it at that time because then I kind of know what my plan's going to be. Now we're rearranging these shelves and we're setting it up so that all of my daughter's things are on the far left shelf and all of my college son's things are going to be on the far right shelf. And so this is slowly becoming a storage unit for my kids, and eventually none of my things except for the Christmas stuff and the one box of my husband's trophies will be in there because that's more of our long-term storage. Something that I have received comments on is that you like the fact that I tend to use whatever I have in the house first. I'm not just going out and buying all new containers and making a very Pinterest-worthy basement down here. And that is actually on purpose. And as I have thought about it, the reason for that is I am not planning on keeping all of this stuff long term. What you see has value, changes over time, and I don't want to go out and buy all these specialty boxes so that everything looks beautiful, because I actually think that's going to hinder me personally from future decluttering. If everything fits perfectly in the box and the boxes are all uniform and perfectly labeled, I would tend to keep it because it just looks so pretty. I wouldn't want to mess it up, and it would feel like a lot of work to mess it up. So I prefer to kind of piecemeal this. I do enjoy having the containers that are see-through. I'm not too worried about having all of them that way. As long as they are properly labeled, I'm okay with them not being completely transparent. So I will keep the ones that I have as long as they fit on the shelf. So the ones that I have decluttered are ones that don't fit on the shelf, where I do want things in general off the floor as much as possible and up on a shelf. That way, if there is leaking in the basement or anything that happens, they're up and protected. So I want to create a neat space, and I want to create it in a way that makes sense and is organized, and I'm able to find the things that I need or help the people that own them find the things that they need. But I don't really want it to be 100% perfectly beautiful. So my husband right now is taking the boxes of photos off those shelves. They are super duper heavy, and I know I cannot declutter them if they're up on those shelves. I did have him bring them upstairs for a bit, but I was just too slow through that project, and it drove me crazy to have them on my dining room floor. But as I've said many times, I have a son who's moving. I really want him to take his photos with him. So I will be working through those boxes to pull out his, and then my other grown and gone son is coming to visit with his family in March, which is very exciting. And I'm hoping to have the rest of his photos for him as well. He has taken some already. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, because to be honest, I'm cold. But I really want to at least, that is homeschool stuff on the bottom. And what I want to do is at least start bringing some of this stuff up. And I'm trying to use this stuff down and then have a lot less cleaners. One of the problems is all of us, including me, are addicted to different scents of all-purpose cleaner. But I just have these two homeschool things, and this is stuff that you need when you use a microscope. So those few things I want on this shelf. Have you ever noticed, and I was talking to, I think it's Cinderella fan, I think Cindy and I were talking about this, that when you're young, you tend to gather things, and as you get older, you tend to scatter them out abroad to everyone and anyone who will take them. And I really think that's okay, and I think it's just part of life. And I have to admit that things like china and things that belong to my grandmother and those types of things really brought me a lot of joy when I'm younger. And now I like to have a little smattering of it, just little pieces, but I don't need a lot. And if they bring joy to my younger children and they give them a sense of belonging and a sense of family, then I think it is wonderful for them. And I think that then they're going to get older and they're either going to pass them on to their children, or they're going to pass them on to someone else, or they're just going to get rid of them. And that's okay. It's all part of the process of living through different seasons of life. So there is the cleaner stuff. And then this is all homeschool. So it's easy when I come down the stairs to